Yo, what's good? Yo, what's up, Curtis? Welcome to the chat. I like the little lobster, bro. Like, you got a lobster in your name. Man, your picture's pretty small, but you look like you catch lobsters, dude. You look like a gritty mofo who you look like you're on a boat, like you got some sea legs and you catch lobsters. What's up, guys? We're gonna have a little guest appearance today. One of our best members of our community is gonna join me. We're gonna do a little market cipher Q&A. Yup, you made it. You made it. Let me post about the stream, and then we'll get my guest in here on a Discord call, and then we'll get this going. Let's do a Q&A, guys. What's up, guys? How we doing? How we doing?
You know what they do in the Canadian Parliament? I've actually had members of the Parliament on. It's
all right.
major publications.
Let's get Nightshade on here.
In Ottawa to care satanic rituals. Oh, yes. Satanism. They're public about it.
Hello, hello.
Yo, what's good, man? How you doing?
Doing great.
Hell yeah, man.
Just fixing my mic here.
Yeah, let me see.
Seems to be good.
Chat, can you guys hear Riley? Can you guys hear Nightshade? How's his volume? Let me turn you up a
I'll
little
talk a little bit, see if that helps them gauge it.
You guys hear our guest?
I see some yeses in the chat. So.
Oh yeah. They got you good, man. They got you good. Hell yeah, man. It's good to have you on, man. You're one of my most active like VIP members, but you're more than that, man. You're Riley was like the first guy to help me with my push-up challenge, even before the Satoshi email leaked, and it was like it became a holy quest to inspire the world to do push-ups. Like before that, when it was just FG, just working out, just making the call, just trying to be right about something, and you know what I'm saying? Like Riley on day 2 joined me. He's only 1 day behind me.
I'm on that grind, man. That's slow growth every day. You led the way to showing it. It's not just in the charts. It's physical. It's mental. So I had to hop on that train.
Yeah, man. But like, what is like the coincidence of like me starting this like 100K challenge, and then 12 days later, like we're doing this shit, and then the Satoshi email leaks, and it's like something. You know, things aren't always a coincidence. It's just like we were tying threads that like most people were not, you know? And I don't know, man.
That's fate.
It comes from you just got to be one of those guys that carries the boats, man. Tell the chat a little bit about yourself, man.
A little bit of a sit rep about myself. Yeah, sure. I'm a I currently work for the U.S. Air Force as a cyber defense operator, and mainly what I do is I work on servers, vulnerability detection, and remediation. But I've been trading with NickCipher for, I want to say, almost 3 years now, because it was back in, 3 years.
Yeah.
Back in 2020 was when I discovered NickCipher through I was on a BitBoy at the time, live stream, and he was using NickCipher, so he kind of exposed me to it. Ben Armstrong did, and I remember that fateful day when the price just dumped. Like we had that ancient pattern show up on the daily on Bitcoin when it was at all-time highs. That's when I got into crypto. That's when I learned about it.
Oh my gosh!
So
you got in at the worst time.
I got in at the worst time. I got smashed on the dump, but I didn't care because I remember seeing. I was watching Ben Armstrong at the time, but I remember when the dump started happening and his stream ended. I got a recommended stream on my YouTube recommendations, and it was you and CryptoFace, your brother. You were both streaming the dump using NickCipher, and I didn't even care about losing money at that point. Like, I just watched you guys make $2 million in my face while I was, I lost whatever 50% value. I didn't even care. I was just like, whatever these guys are doing, whatever these guys are on, I'm getting to their level. Like, I made myself a promise that day.
Damn.
And it's been 3 years.
Man, that's so cool, man. First of all, thank you for your service, not just to the country, but with the push-up challenge and also our community. Like, I know as a fact that you've done a lot of like free consultations. Like, you're just a man for others, bro. Like I got a Jesuit background, and like I was taught to be like this too. But yeah, like a lot of the you've just done a lot of stuff like for free in our community for various people that you value relationships a lot more than money, but you're also a really good trader and a really good analyst. But so someone in the chat mentioned the Satoshi email leaks. So Side of Cloud, so like on February 13th, I started doing push-ups every day until Bitcoin hit 100K. Like, I did a reel and I said I was going to do push-ups every day until Bitcoin hits 100K. And then the next day I was all by myself for 1 day. And then the next day Riley joined me, and nobody joined us at all for like 12 days as we like held the price over 50K. And then these Satoshi emails were leaked from 2009, which you can do your own research and look these emails up. In one of the emails, Satoshi said, if everybody does 100 push-ups, the price will go to 100K. And so for the next like 10 days or so, I was like, first of all, like, I think that Satoshi is like a genius, and like for him to have invented Bitcoin and not been around publicly to take all the credit for it, like just for that alone, he deserves like a Nobel Peace Prize. And like, I just thought that he was really wise and like spiritually wise to like be able to play the role of like a market god, like the way you should, unlike Richard Hart, unlike Vitalik, unlike all these other characters who like, it's like if you're going to be a market god, like you need to be exemplary of that. Like you can't be vain or out of shape or whatever, like, or at least you got to just be invisible, you know? So I like, you know, Satoshi's like, you know, if he puts out an email saying do 100 push-ups every day and we will hit 100K, and I'm already doing a push-up challenge, like this was like a fate kind of thing. Like I felt like almost called by God to like not give up. I was like, damn, now that this email leak is out, there's no way I'm quitting this challenge. And like, if anything, now it's my job to like try to inspire some sort of like global meditation on Bitcoin. Like this was when Bitcoin was at 48K, so I still wasn't like, now I'm feeling a little weird about like talking to, like about like this in this like evangelical way about crypto to people. But at 48K, I definitely wanted to be like spreading some awareness about this shit because I knew it was going to go up. And so yeah, man, there was a Satoshi email leak that like converged with my push-up challenge, and I was on to something. Like I was like on to something before this leak was released. And then like what's that Breedlove guy, is it Robert Breedlove on Twitter? I think it's Robert Breedlove. But he started doing push-ups too, and I was like trying to get his attention because if he could elevate my voice and be a part of this challenge, like the challenge would have gone like global in the crypto sphere. But like he didn't see my tweets, and like the internal, yeah, I got drowned out because I'm small. I don't have a big platform, like, and you know, people didn't really put me on, which I didn't really want them to. I want to grow on my own. Like I'm not asking to be put on. It's just like I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, so like there's been a couple times where like other personalities have done push-ups and I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, like, let's make this a movement. And like it's just you know, it's like screaming into a wall, because social media is like psyoped and shit, you know?
Oh yeah.
And then also like our internal community, I hate to say it, but we've got like mostly pencil necks. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like most of the people like can't do 100 push-ups. Like this is a challenge for like Chads, and I don't know that many Chads, you know?
The hard truth.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not gonna like, I'm basically like yelling at a bunch of women and elderly people and like older folk to like do 100 push-ups. It just like doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? Like, and so I started feeling like a little animosity, you know, almost like I'm one of the coal shovelers at the bottom of the Titanic. Like I'm holding the markets up and no one cares. Or like, you know, like if you go to prison, like no one cares about you, you know, like that's almost how I felt. But eventually I evened out. Like, I started being insane, or I stopped being insane with the push-ups and like evangelical and weird. And I just started doing them, you know what I'm saying? Like just leading by example, just doing them and being positive.
And you started doing them out in public too, and getting those faces to see you.
Yeah, when I went to Florida, I kept the challenge rolling, and I got Mike Perry to do push-ups with me. I even like was teaching fighters on the phone about Bitcoin. I got Kai Stewart, the featherweight world champion, to do push-ups on my story for Market Cipher. And like, the smartest person I talked to in Florida about crypto was this like 12-year-old kid in front of the Kia Center in Orlando, and he like knew about inflation and like was like pro Bitcoin. I mean, this kid did push-ups and stuff, and like I
saw that clip.
Yeah, I had all these like raw moments with like everyday people, and the push-up challenge allowed me to like go out into places where like I could post the challenge and look like I'm out in the world doing shit instead of just being in my room doing them, you know? And it was like, it was helping me spread Bitcoin awareness at a time where like you should be spreading Bitcoin awareness, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
This is the best time to be spreading Bitcoin awareness. So going into the halvening in what, next month.
Oh my
So-
gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's, man. Oh, that's cancer inducing. But yeah, so the challenge has been like, I mean, it's been life changing to me. Like, look at my, you know what I'm saying? Look at my chest, you know? It changes your life in like 1 month of doing this. If you guys do 100 push-ups a day, first of all, you could do what I did. And the challenge started off as like the price of Bitcoin divided by 1,000 push-ups. So like I was doing like 50 push-ups a day, but then the Satoshi leak came out and it blew my mind because like Satoshi said to do 100 push-ups a day. And that makes sense. Like if you want to grow and change, you have to shoot higher, right? Like instead of me like chasing whatever the price is each day and doing that many push-ups, if I actually want Bitcoin to pump, it makes sense that I would want to do 100 and like wait for it to get up to, you know what I'm saying? Like get up to where I'm at, you know? And that like I was like, thank you, Satoshi. Like you opened, I was like on my knees, like praying to Satoshi, bro. Like I swear to God. But
He showed us the way. He showed us that we were doing it, but we were doing it wrong.
yeah, I was so close, dude. I was like really close to like nailing it. Yeah, man. And in that time, I was like thinking, like, dude, is like Satoshi just like someone like me? You know, like I was feeling very in tune with like, I was like almost like feeling, I was like Professor X, and I could like feel Satoshi's brain waves out there. Like I was like, how else are me and Satoshi similar? And like, how did, like, was Satoshi a Chad? Because like, what software or what like blockchain developer would be like talking about push-ups? You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
Like, he like whoever Satoshi is, he's probably like in good shape and like has a good spiritual foundation because like of how he handled this like market he created, like being an observer, an omniscient observer of it all, and not interloping with it, you know, like
yeah, just being on the side, because who knows who Satoshi is, but his account is massive, like what, 1 million Bitcoin, and it hasn't moved.
Yeah, and you know, one of the threads that linked me from this challenge to the challenge to Bitcoin was my David Goggins, like my through my fitness journey in 2023, I watched a lot of David Goggins, and David Goggins is saying like, life's gonna get harder, and like showing, I was tying like proof of work, like posting push-ups. That's proof of work, you know. And like that's how Bitcoin is powered. And so like, and I just had all these ideas of like, dang, like how many push-ups or like how many people running on treadmills would it take to like generate 1 Bitcoin, you know? Like I was having like thoughts tying like the energy we exert to the blockchain, and like, and then also thinking about the halvening, how that number is going to like double, like the energy expectations are going to double, you know, like, because if you have the reward, you're basically saying we have to double the work, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, so I was thinking, what if I should be doubling the amount of work that I'm doing, you know? And I'm like, just cause, you know.
Such a simple concept, but it makes such a big difference. Like when you started talking about it more, it just makes so much more sense. Proof of work. You're putting in the effort and you're earning that value and you're proving it to everyone. That's what is valuable about it. And just the whole doubling, right? Just, or the halvening, right? Where you have to work double for just what you have.
Gratitude. Yeah, and no one's ever talked about it like that before. Yeah. And it's not just like, it's one thing to say, oh, FG, I'm doing 100 push-ups with you, but I don't like see that you're doing that. It's not preserved on the blockchain. Like, you may be lying. Like, there's a big difference between posting it online and showing the proof every day and like not, you know, because like, I don't know, like light just illuminates darkness. Like if you show that you're doing this work every day, like it cannot be disputed, you know. And so I hate to spam you guys with push-ups every day with like literal reels. It's not like a story challenge. I'm like, my profile is just a bunch of push-ups now. It's at like I'm at like almost 4,000 push-ups now, you know. But you know, this is the AI strategy. You flood them, you know, like you flood them, overwhelm them, and barrage them with an overwhelming might that of everyone like everything is in unison, and it's like humanity is hopeless to challenge that kind of mentality, you know? So I was thinking, like, what if we just had the entire crypto space all doing push-ups and posting proof of work? Like, we would have gone to 100K, but that was a small little window. You guys had to like just believe in FG and Satoshi, you know, from like that 48K level. But, you know, we live in a spiritual vacuum. We live, you know, the matrix has taken a grip of most people. And so most people can't even do 100 push-ups. That's the sad reality, you know. But it didn't stop me from, you know, inspiring people. And a lot of people have like said that like I ignited their candles and shit, you know, which I don't take credit. Like, I mean, maybe I gave you the spark, but like the fire is within all you guys. Like,
exactly. Just with trading, man. With trading, you might give a signal, someone might follow it, but in the end, it was them pulling the trigger. It's them making the trade.
Yeah, I don't want credit for any of these. I mean, put posts in the profit logs, but like FG didn't initiate any of these trades for you guys. Like, you guys are pulling the triggers on these anchors. So you have a YouTube channel too, man. This Nightshade_1. Your name's Riley, but you go by Nightshade in the community. I see you got this like blood diamond, man. Are you you know, you joined the markets at the top, and so it makes sense that you're like that. You know, you're ready to short again, because that's like all you know, bro. All you know is doom and Armageddon, bro. That's probably why you started doing the push-ups with me.
Another unfortunate truth. All I've known for trading since I've joined has been doom and gloom and blood and
all he knows is blood.
That's it, man.
Oh my gosh.
Been fighting in the trenches for 3 years.
Man.
That's all I know.
Man, you're like a baby sea turtle watching all your brethren getting picked off by seagulls. And you finally made it into the water. We had this little bull run, and you're just like the most hardcore baby sea turtle, man. That's awesome, man. So you just put a video out a little sporadic. Do you go live? No lives yet.
No lives. I don't have enough subscribers to go live, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, if you guys, if anyone knows Nightshade in the community, definitely follow him. But yeah, he'll be earning his stripes in the community as time goes on in this bull run.
Low growth every day.
Yeah, man. There's no shame starting from zero. That's what I did. And like, but see, I posted a video every single day, and then that allows people to support you and like put you on more. Like, I think Jason Casper like had no issue like telling people to sub to me, because he looks at my channel and there's like a short every day and a video like every day. Like, I was going ham, you know. And if you want something bad enough, then you go for that, you know. And people respect that. Like, right, you can see it. Like, smart people who are successful can see like the people coming up that are worth investing in. It's the people who are like so hungry that they're just relentless and like passionate, you know. So if you show some of that relentless passion, then the community will recognize it, you know. But you don't want to rush it.
Absolutely, I agree. And that video I posted the other day, I was with a friend. He was teaching me like this new software, so that's why it's like sporadic and fast. We were just having fun. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get after it a lot more now that I know how to use the software, and that's, you know, a big step in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, thank you for joining the chats. A lot of you guys are telling me that you're doing workouts too, man. I think the blockchain recognizes any workout, whether it's burpees or push-ups or squats or crunches. You know, just imagine that, like, take ultimate supreme godlike accountability in your life. Like I get that, like, these pencil necks on Twitter, and like there's this idea that like the market doesn't care about you or me. And like, it's, you know, when CF like does a big trade and says like the markets are hunting me, and people are like, you're insignificant, you're small, you don't matter. Like, this is negative talk. Like, if you tell someone or you tell yourself you don't matter, or I don't matter, I'm insignificant, like you may be true to some extent, but there's like a more positive way to put it. Like, if anything, you want to be preaching like supreme godlike accountability. Like the market does care about me, and like this market's not going to go up unless I'm the best version of myself every day. If there's a day where I lie to my people or don't show up, or if I don't like stick true to my risk management plan, or if I don't do my push-ups, then
if you lie to yourself,
then I wholeheartedly believe this market's going to crash. You know what I'm saying? Like every day I do my push-ups, I'm like, I have to do my push-ups or else this is all going to shit. The market's going to tank, and my people are going to, we're gonna have to learn how to short or something, or just, you know, be careful when I get my ID, because when I get my ID, I may stop doing push-ups and just start shorting, because I'm holding this shit up. When I started my push-up challenge, it was down here at 48, and we got 0 drawdown. It didn't even hit my magical in my head stop loss of like, oh, I'm a complete idiot for doing this challenge. Look guys, I pumped the markets 50%. Me, supreme accountability, you know. But it's just an interesting way to think. Like there's a philosopher who said to conduct yourself morally as if, like, expand your morality to everybody on earth. If everybody on earth acted like you, would the world be a better place or a worse place, you know? And so if everybody took the fate of Bitcoin into their own hands and was like working towards a better future, like the world would be a better place. So I'm morally justified in what I'm doing and how I think, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is a Market Cipher Q&A, guys. Just because we're at kind of a strange point. I didn't think that my push-up line would be the line that would hold the market up. I was thinking like we would get a right shoulder here and test these bearish sentiments again, or I was thinking that we would crash down back to the poop line and get an actual test of it. So the fact that like I guess my idea was wrong. That's so in trading, if you form a hypothesis and then it's like wrong, you almost want to like sit on the sidelines and just kind of like watch it and like until you can form a new idea, you know? And so like I had this idea or this idea, but now we're just like doing this. And like I was just like wrong. So I'm kind of just watching the markets. And so, you know, once a week I give myself the liberty to take this stance in the markets where I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. We're about to get a daily candle close in an hour and a half, and the intraday VWAP will reset. So maybe that'll give the bulls a chance to take this back up to the intraday. Or maybe we stay under the intraday and slam down. Like I don't really know. I don't really know, but what I do want to do is open the floor to Market Cipher questions. And Nightshade's a good wealth of MC information too. He's been in my VIP group sessions that I've done.
Absolutely. I'm in a lot of the communities. You'll see me around. I'm in yours, Evans. Yeah. I'm in the Bullzone crew as well. I see some of those guys in the chat too. Saw Josh pop in as well.
Oh yeah, Josh. Yeah, man. I'm looking to do some collab work with Mr. Bullzone too, man. He's a good guy. And as you guys know, like I elevate members in the community based on virtue and like character, not necessarily like channel size or like what's in it for me or whatever like that. You know, I just know Riley's a good dude. He's been with me since day 2 of the push-ups, and he's damn good at his TA. So, you know, he's my friend, you know.
We're all in this niche together.
Armin Osmic says, how long did it take you to become a confident trader? A confident trader? It took me 5 minutes, dude. As soon as I opened my BitMEX account in 2017, I was a confident trader, bro.
A good trader? Confident, sure. Confident and good, not the same thing.
I actually have some videos hidden on like the official Market Cipher YouTube channel, and it's me like flopping and groping. Well, it's me 50x trading ETH and actually like scalping successfully, and I made like a couple $1,000. But I was just like 50xing with no stop and like just using trend lines and shit. It was so funny, dude. And I was so confident, calling people flopping gropers, talking fast. I was fast and sharp. Now I talk like slow and dumb. Back then I was like younger and like sharper minded, I guess. And like my TA was already on point, man. And it was all just trend lines and like basic stuff. And I was like murdering the charts on like the 1 minute chart, 50x trading ETH. And so, man, I was confident early on. You start off trading with it's a bell curve of confidence, bro. This is such a great question, actually. You asked like the coolest question, Armin, because oh yeah, no problem, Jason. I got a new treadmill just like you. It's coming soon. But yeah, Armin, like when you like trading in confidence is a bell curve. Like when you first start trading, you're the most confident in your entire career, and then you get pooped on because you don't know risk management. And once you see like the vast valley of information that you don't know, then your confidence like goes to zero, and that can be the point where like you quit trading, you know. But if you can just like climb your way back up the other side of that valley, eventually you get to where you were before confidence wise, but you have the knowledge and the meat and potatoes to back it up. And so if what you mean is like confidence with the skills to back it up, then that was 3 years. Actually, I said 2017, but I started trading in 2018, actually. Sorry about that. And it wasn't until the ETH bull run of like 2020 and 2021 that like I started like clicking online and not blowing accounts and actually growing my account. So it was like 2 or 3 years. My first year, I just had bad investments. There was like scams in the crypto space at that time. And like I put tens of grand into coins that went to shit. It wasn't even like bad trading. There was bad trades in there too. I blew a $20,000 account. I blew a whole account with 20 grand in it. So that happened. But the majority of my losses was like shit coins that I bought that just like I didn't sell, you know. So it wasn't really like a whole lot of leverage losses. Just overall, I was messing up on a number of fronts, you know. But it led to about like 50 grand or so, or 60 grand or so, and in painful lessons, which is about the cost of like a college education. You know what I'm saying? So that's the cost of an education, man.
It's paying tuition, but to the market, man. It's
I paid my dues for sure. I paid my dues.
Yeah, I've paid my dues too, but luckily when I got in, I had a lot less to lose, so I learned at a lesser cost. But it also took me about 2-3 years, because even though I had Cipher, even though I knew it really well and still do, I never truly appreciated risk management. And it wasn't until like maybe even just 6 months ago where I sat down, made my own risk management strategy, and was like, all right, this is what I'm committing to, that made all the difference. It really just, I can't stress it enough, to where in every video you hear from Evan Aldo, Jason Casper, Tom Crown, whoever, they'll tell you 1% risk management. But how do you actually apply that? You need to sit down and make a strategy, and you have to follow it. And it makes the world of difference when you finally do it.
Yeah, that term risk reward, if you can just get that risk part in check, that's the first step to your success in trading. And then you learn how to get better reward setups on the other side of that. But yeah, like to go from beginner to intermediate means that you no longer blow accounts, and you have an idea of how much I can lose in each trade. And you catastrophic dinosaur extinction events don't just like happen randomly. Like if that ever happens to you now, I mean, it's either like that's the mark that you're still a beginner and that you still have much to learn, basically. And then to go from intermediate to expert, like the struggle of most intermediate traders is like the actual reward element. How do I get quality entries? How do I let good situations ride? And like that's the next step. But I would say if you're blowing accounts and stuff, you got to focus on the risk side of things. How much can you lose in this trade? Don't think about how much you stand to gain, and start small and prove to yourself. Confidence comes with experience. You know what I'm saying? So racking up like, 20 wins as a trader with a small account. Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Jump scare.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Oh
Looking at the chat.
man. All right. My alerts are going off IRL. Jason Casper, it's great to have you in, man. The master himself. Freaking ninja, the Pikachu hat. Let's see, I missed some questions. Okay, Case is asking me if I'm in Hex, or is this Project Death? Richard Hart is no Satoshi, that's for sure. This is a man who flaunts his watches and his Gucci and talks shit on you, and isn't a very likable person. But his coin is super undervalued, so maybe it's a good scoop, just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if my brother owns any. I don't own Hex, but I own a sizable amount of Pulse. Just being transparent, I own a lot of Pulse, but I'm holding on to it for long term, just in case Richard Hart starts going to the gym. Maybe Richard Hart should start doing 100 push-ups a day and sell his Gucci for some Vans. Maybe his coin would pump. Jen Time says, can you use MC on your phone? Of course you can. Because you can use TradingView on your phone. So download TradingView mobile, and MC is usable on it. I mean, is it as good as my ultra wide HD alien technology monitor here? Like, it's not going to look as pretty. It's going to be a little awkward, especially if you got fat fingers like me. I'm like Shrek. Like, imagine like Shrek with a cell phone. That's me. Gosh, it's so blurry. I keep blurring out. But yeah, Jen, like, obviously, like, TradingView is better on PC. But with a phone, you can walk around. You can go for a walk around the neighborhood and check your Marky Cyber, Whereas, with a PC, you have to get a treadmill like me and Jason, or else you're going to turn into a neckbeard with a Hawaiian shirt, and you're going to be stomping around Miami, and you'll be lame. You'll be a lame if you stay at your computer living the sedentary PC life all the time. Questions. Let's see. Nathan says, any big trades recently? No, man. Other than I just bought some Solana. I switched some Tether I got a lot of Solana. I just been buying coins, you know what I'm saying? Just waiting for my digital residency, and yeah, I've been doing like spot stuff, but nothing leveraged. But that doesn't mean I'm not working hard. Like, in this, like, your career in the trading world, different people are coming at this world from different angles. I'm on the producer side of this world. I have this whole indicator business to manage for my brother. I'm live streaming 5 days a week for you guys. I'm here every day for the traders and for the trading world. I'm a successful trader. But I haven't been trading because I'm just waiting to do it correctly. So I hope you guys respect that, and just know that I'm working hard for you guys regardless. But yeah, like this year, I definitely want to be entering some positions. And once I get to that point where I'm like doing leverage trades, you guys realize that I'm then doing everything. I'm doing my own content, posting my own shit, tweeting my own shit, like doing my own thumbnails, I'm trading, I'm teaching, that would mean I'm literally doing it all. That's the last step. And I'm gonna do it all for you guys. Look at my eyes. I'm gonna do it all for you guys because I love you. And it is out of a sense of duty that I'm doing this. Any other questions?
Next step in the battle.
Red Elephant says, can you explain the trigger wave strategy? So by trigger wave strategy, I'm sure you mean basic strategy, which is like anchor and trigger wave setups. Here's one right here. This is a textbook anchor trigger. Really, all an anchor trigger setup is just an uptrend of momentum. So like the basic concept is you want to see the momentum waves trending to the upside, trending to the zero line. And that's the most basic, bare bones, Market Cipher B kind of reading. that the market's going to trend up. And so it's very bare bones. But the next kind of level to understanding it is like with divergences. There's like two anchor trigger setups that can play out. There's one like this where you get a higher low along with this higher low of momentum, so you get some convergence here. But what's even better than this is if the price dips lower. Like if the price were to do this, but you get the same wave reading, that's what's called a standard bullish divergence. And so some of these anchor trigger setups are bull divs as well. And when you get a bullish divergence, which is a disagreement between the price, where the price is coming down and the waves are coming up, that's like a more bullish setup. So if you ever see an anchor trigger, see if the price created a lower low, and that creates a standard bull div, which is even more powerful than just some simple convergence. So yeah, that's the basis of the anchor and trigger setup. Usually you want to see a little scoop of money flow. You want to see the money flow scooping up too. You want to pair it with a yellow oscillator crossing over zero, and ideally either like around that anchor trigger setup, you want to see something like this on the RSIs, where the RSIs were oversold but they're coming over 12. I would have liked to see this over here on the right, but the fact that during the anchor wave setup, the anchor wave printed and we got that nice deep RSI, the bear is losing market strength, and then we kind of start moving up towards the point where you can see that once we get the trigger set up, bulls achieve market strength with the RSI. That's another good setup for a long on the RSI. So the RSI has like two things you want to look for. One is like bearish market strength waning, coming over like the 12 line, and then you want to see bullish market strength being achieved. So those are two kind of bullish signs with the RSIs that you could look for. And that's like the basic strategy. That's CF's basic strategy. So hopefully that answered your question, Red Elephant. Another thing about trigger waves is when you're in a strong uptrend, like see how strong this uptrend's been. This is actually an idea from Nightshade, bro. Do you want to talk about the momentum desert actually real quick, since this is like a concept it's a term you coined, the momentum desert. Talk about that.
Will do. Actually, there's another question in the chat that goes along with what I'm going to talk about, and he asked me directly, what's my routine? What do I like to look for? What do I prefer to use the most? So, absolutely is Market Cipher B, the Bravo Cipher. It's my favorite. And what Nick has circled there on his chart is what I call a momentum desert, right? So, when price is absolutely ripping in one direction, so it's an extraordinarily trending market, you get the momentum only likes to stay on one side of the zero line. It leaves the opposite end of the zero line from the trend desolate. So this desolate zone, we call it desert, because deserts are desolate. And in this zone, you get little irks of momentum. And since we're in a momentum desert, I call these cacti, these little cacti in the desert, and those are typically...
We're talking about these little nodules here, like the rare times where it does dip below zero. You're saying these are like the prime opportunities to jump
exactly
to the runaway trade price action.
Yeah, those are a continuation pattern in a ripping price action and a trending market. So it's just the best opportunity to look for those entries, or to be your entries, quite frankly. And they work on any time frame. The higher the time frame, the better. But if you see price ripping and you're feeling FOMO, you can jump in on those super small time frames, like the second time frames or the minute, and jump on these cacti. And typically, if you scalp it, use proper risk management, you're gonna get some good returns and not get FOMO'd out of price ripping away from you.
That's huge, man. Yeah, so Red Elephant, so there's another little thing to trigger waves, and that is like when you're in a very hyper trending market, you'll get trigger waves with no corresponding anchor wave. Like you won't get these deep waves down here, and you won't get like an anchor trigger. You'll just get like little triggers because the so much momentum is weighted to one side of the oscillator. And then another thing about these little trigger waves, like it's hard to find convincing market bottoms in these powerful trends. But if you're experienced with divergences, you can see them, such as like right here, we create a lower low with these like trigger waves here. You see that? So the blue waves, the green dots trending down. But look, you see the price action trending up. You see that little disagreement between the price and the oscillator. This is what's called a hidden bullish div. A hidden bullish div, as opposed to a standard bull div. The standard bull div would be the price is going lower and the oscillator's trending up. This is like kind of like the opposite, but they're both bullish. And like what this is saying is like the market went up, and then it looks like, so basically the bulls hit harder, but the price does not respond to that. Like the actual price is holding a higher level despite the bears trying to press the market down harder. So it's like, imagine you're punching someone, you punch them, and then you try to punch them harder, but they're even more resilient. You know, it's like they've caught on to your shtick. You know what I'm saying? And so the market's going to continue in their favor. So remember that a hidden bull div is typically going to be a market continuation signal, whereas a standard div, you know, something like this here, where the price goes lower and like the momentum does not go lower. This is kind of a weak example because it's just even waves down here. Ideally, you'd want to see a nice smaller wave, and it's a very convincing up, but it's still kind of a standard div. But basically, like, standard divs are at local bottoms in markets, whereas hidden divs are continuations. I think there's a standard div here. So let's see. Okay, so look. So this wave got slightly higher from this little wave to this little wave. This trended up, but then if you look at the price action, it trended down because of this gigantic wick here. So this was a standard bull div that played out, and that ended up being like a local bottom in the markets there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. And there's one that happened recently that sent us almost back up to the original all-time high on the 1 hour. That bull div.
Where at here?
We called it in the. It's like the most recent chart on the 1 hour. You can actually see it on the 2 hour as well, but it's like a snake eyes almost.
Oh yeah. It was this one right here. The most convincing bull div we've seen in a while in the most recent markets was like this one. And this was right before the FOMC decision with Jerome Powell. And so like before Jerome even takes the podium and Jason Casper streams with his Pikachu hat, like the Market Cipher B was like already, it's like Market Cipher B knows what's about to happen. They know that Jason Casper's a Chad and he's going to pump the markets, and they know that the waves know that Jerome Powell is dovish before anyone even takes the podium. You know what I'm saying? So you see the signs, you see the increase in momentum, and you see the lower price, and then you also see us gaining traction over Market Cipher SR's intraday VWAP, the white line here, and that's kind of all you need to pull the trigger, and like you make a play back up to the overall bearish sentiment, like the downward sentiments. Obviously, it's not a swing long, because you can't really swing long until we break bearish structure and we come up over these sentiments, and then we can go for like a swing kind of position on Bitcoin. But it's at least a window of opportunity. You know, like you catch along maybe at this yellow line and you catch a good little 7%er, you know. So even in a downtrend, those bull divs will play out. But I must say, in a downtrend, which we've been in, don't ignore the bearish side. Like, don't be afraid to short as well. Like, look how the waves here go higher. If you look at the bearish side of things, the momentum wave goes higher, and then the price goes lower. You guys see how that is a disagreement between the price and the oscillator from the bearish point of view. And so for the bulls to make a stronger attempt at breaking bearish sentiment, and yet we're still lower in price, that's bearish. And so yeah, we've got this move playing out, almost a 9% short scalp.
Here's a question I got for you on divergences. How do you regard when you have, let's say you have a bullish divergence or any divergence, there's what I call a difference in same wave and separate wave divergence. where a momentum wave could have a bullish divergence on the same, anchor wave? Or would you regard that more or less from a bullish divergence where it's two separate waves?
Obviously, like multiple waves is a bigger indication.
Yeah,
That's like that.
I agree with that.
It's kind of cut and dry like that. Like something off of a there, and yeah, like divergence plays out in a number of ways in markets. For instance, like, and you can see this more if you perhaps zoom into a smaller time frame. But for instance, right here, as we slam into these bearish sentiments up here, you can see that we're kind of like Bart Simpson's head, like it's like a triple top, kind of holding even. And it's not exactly even, it's like kind of like a head and shoulders. But as you get experience in trading, you learn not to see things as exacts and like the approximation. Basically, you have like even right here, but look at the momentum; it's sliding down. And so this may be one blue blob, but within this one blue blob, it's telling you something. It's telling you that we're being rejected here at this bearish sentiment. So yeah, so like that's a sign that we're probably going to slam under the intraday, and once you slam under the intraday, then you get that weakness.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so you get a monster short off that. You get a 11.5% dump off that. But then you get this, like the second play that the bulls make creates this larger div, a larger hidden bearish divergence. So they both play out. They all play out. Like the single blob divs, like for instance, this low right here. You see the blob getting less blobby, and then you see the price trending down. So that's a standard bullish divergence, and that sends us up, and that's just like off of one little blob, So you get like little blob plays, big blobs, little blobs. They all
I agree
play
with
out.
you. I think that from my experience, separate wave divergences do tend to play out more, or at least bigger. I think just because it's more obvious for traders, but they both play out and they're both good.
Someone in the chats asked, Ali's asked, can you explain the difference between trigger and anchor waves? So I have a question for the chat. Does the price go lower on an anchor wave or a trigger wave? Does the price go lower on an anchor or a trigger wave generally?
We'll see. Gonna read the chat a little
An
bit.
anchor wave is a deeper wave, and it's usually followed by the trigger wave, which is the... Yeah, and okay, so we got some mix. It really depends. You do see both, actually. Both things happen. But I got examples. Like, I tend to say the trigger wave. Like that. This is why you want the anchor and the trigger simultaneously. Because see how these guys are saying trigger. Some of our experienced guys are saying trigger because like this happens often, where like you'll get this div where just because the momentum looks more bullish and the momentum is trending up, the price is like going lower. Let me see if I can find an example.
Yeah, it's like the runaway train type of deal. When you get that anchor, especially on the high time frames, is that indication of trend momentum. So it's got to diverge, and it'll keep diverging. It's got to slow down. It's
the essence. What we're trying to talk about is it's a standard bullish divergence. Like you'll get. I wish I had a clearer example, man. This sucks.
Well, the high time frames
right
for the bull market work.
You got basically an anchor trigger wave is any wave that goes below like the 60 line or hits the 60 line. It's like a deep cut wave correction, whether to the upside or downside. And then the smaller wave, like even though the momentum's trending up, the price can go down lower. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you want the anchor and the trigger. You want to wait for that trigger, because just because you have an anchor wave doesn't mean you've hit market bottom. The momentum could start trending up, but the price is king. Like, and it's not like price is lying. Like, price is king, price is the final arbiter, and price is where profits are made. So like, you know, you could think that you got a good bottom by like longing a BitBoy green dot, and then like you get this smaller wave, and yet price has fallen lower. That's why we have the anchor trigger as part of the basic strategy, because it accounts for a little bit of that divergence that comes naturally in markets. And it gives you a better chance, a slightly better chance of catching a market bottom or a market top. Obviously, it could continue to diverge. Like this could create a third little nodule, and we could go down even lower, you know? But like, there's no way to know if that's going to happen. But by having this anchor trigger set up here, by waiting for the trigger and waiting for an overall uptrend in the blue wave, you have a better shot at hitting like the actual bottom or the actual top. So yeah, Trav Desov says, so the anchor wave is deeper. 100%. An anchor wave is an anchor wave because it's a deeper wave. So here's an anchor wave, and I guess this is a little anchor trigger here. Let's take a look up here. So we got boom, boom. So this is a good example of like an anchor trigger setup where you have a wave that hits below the 60 line. We come up, and the next time we mess with that, it's like not quite as low, and so you see this slight uptrend in momentum, and it looks juicy for like some long continuation, so we get a little more long play up there. There's also an anchor trigger on the bear side here. You guys see like we have an anchor wave here. Ooh, this is good. Okay, this is an example of a bear div. So like, we create a higher high in price right here, but we create a lower low in the blue waves. So this is a prime example of a trigger wave, which is this like smaller blob right here, leading to further price continuation in that direction. You would think that because this wave is weaker, that the high would be also weaker, but that's not true. You get a divergence, a disagreement between the price and the oscillator, and that you think that that's not good, or like that's confusing, but it's these disagreements between the price and the oscillator that lead to the trade opportunities. They lead to the formation of higher quality trade ideas with higher win rates, and you get a sizable short correction off that, even in a strong uptrend.
Absolutely. Divergences they play out almost all the time, and they're typically, even if fast, could be fast profits as long as you set your limits. So I love divergences.
Bex asked a good question. Do you ever front run bull divs, and if yes, how are you doing it?
Yes, I do. So if you spy what could potentially be a bull div on a high time frame, you can zoom in to lower time frames and see if that div is actually printing. So the oscillator doesn't change that much depending on the time frame you're looking at, right? If you start chopping the time frames down in half, like the hour to the 30-minute to the 15-minute, you're looking at the same data, just represented in a different manner. So if you see that there's a 15-minute bullish divergence or bearish divergence, and that it could print into a 30-minute one, yeah, that's technically you're front running the 30-minute, but you have confirmation on the 15-minute. If that makes sense.
Yes, you could always zoom into a smaller time frame to kind of like take a magnifying lens and see if something on the bigger time frame is like looking like it will play out. For instance, if like, just one example, you know, on like the 8-hour here, like, is this wave going to curve up, or is this gonna like collapse, you know? So maybe we could go to the smaller time frames, and you know, like on the 1 hour, this looks pretty bullish divergent. Like, see on the 1 hour now we're creating a lower low, and see how like this is kind of like trending up. So that, that would kind of like, bolster the idea that on this bigger time frame, maybe this nodule is gonna like round out or something, so yeah, like you could always zoom in a little bit and like kind of just see if the lower time frames are backing up the higher time frames. Like they kind of go hand in hand. Like usually you want the higher time frame to back up the smaller time frame, but there's a little bit of give and take. It goes in like both directions, like Satoshi Nakamoto, that's what I get. That's what I get smoked on in my trades. You're just like, man, we love you, Satoshi Nakamoto, man. You're our hero, man. There's an anchor trigger on the 1 hour. Anchor trigger on the 1 hour. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wait. Oh yeah, right here, you mean? You talking about this stuff right here? I definitely see a little, there's bullish divergence. Like you see, in fact, the money flow on the 1 hour is like overall trending up. Man, is my push-up line gonna hold or?
Yeah, it's not just the blue waves either. You can make divergences with the yellow oscillator and the money flow as well.
This is true, yeah. Divs are not specific. Divs are an all-encompassing term for all oscillators. They're not specific to the blue wave. It's just the blue waves are like the best oscillator for spotting them. But yeah, like RSIs can diverge, the yellow oscillator can diverge, money flow can diverge.
Yeah.
Even the RSIs diverge from each other. You see like this gap, there's gaps in the RSI where the market's a little more boring, and then when they tighten up and coil up, you get more forceful moves. There's like that reckoning where once the RSIs like start acting in unison, usually like a stronger move takes place. And the green and red of the RSIs, no one even asked this question, but you guys just have to know, like, the green just means that the purple RSI is over the Stokes. That's all that means. It doesn't mean like long on green, short on red. You'll notice that like every time the Stokes are red, the purple oscillator is beneath it. And then every time the Stokes are green, the RSI, the purple oscillator, is above it. So that's all that's saying.
RSIs are so underrated in our community. They're definitely one of my favorite of the oscillators.
Yeah, they're an indication of market strength. They're like an oscillator class of their own. You've got volume weighted oscillator with the money flow. You've got momentum oscillators with the blue and yellow waves, and then you got the market strength, the RSIs. 4 hour, Beck says 4 hour could print a beautiful anchor trigger. Ooh, yeah, potentially. If the 1 hour plays out, the 1 hour plays out, Bex, for certain.
I can see that. I'm looking at one of my screens where, yeah, we have that 1 hour playing out, and the 3 minute and the 4 minute have a bullish divergence on the money flow. So that could at least, I'm thinking, come up to VWAP to see if we can break it, get that intraday going. But the daily's going to reset soon anyways, so
we also don't see much of a momentum desert either way. Like if you guys see like over here, like look at the desert over here where we were like strong trending below the intraday strategy. Like in an environment like this, like once you get like halfway through or like a third of the way through this, you're like, okay, where's the bullish momentum been? Obviously, like I'm probably going to be looking for a bearish trigger wave to short in this kind of like micro environment. We don't see that desert currently, so that it adds a little more credence, you know what I'm saying, to like the bulls having more of a shot. The fact that we see momentum playing in both directions, but we also see like this gigantic blob down here, so it's tough to say, man. I mean, we're in like a scalping, like disagreeable point in the market. Like if we were like overcoming like all sentiments and we had clear clouds and the clear skies overhead, then it would be less turbulent. But we're bouncing up and down in these like warring sentiments. So it is a little like more difficult to discern like where we're at. But you just form an idea, you keep your risk in check, The anchors that I teach here, like the lines on the actual candlestick chart, all these VWAPs, give you like at least lines to like put stop losses behind and form ideas around. The anchors help you like not only on like they help you with the environmental shit, like these, like on the daily, for instance, when you do your environmental read, you see that these anchors are sloped up. And so like overall you have this like bullish slant, even though the price isn't directly interacting with them. Like you could see over here, like when the year to date, the purple was sloped down, look what happened to the price. So like the slope of macro anchors matters, even if you're not touching it. So that's what puts me in this like kind of overall bullish stance, puts me in a stance where I'm looking for this daily blue wave to scoop up before I start thinking of like swing long, kind of, you know what I'm saying? So that's the environment we're in, and so the anchors help me with that, but the anchors also help me plan on the medium time frames for my swings and scalps. They give me these key levels to plan an actual trade with, and then they also help with the execution aspects. If I go on the 6 minute, you know, I might have to make a play off the intraday, in terms of like where do I actually place my order. But sometimes we're far away from the intraday and you're actually placing a trade off of one of these anchors. So I love how these anchors are the same level and same number no matter what time frame I'm on. They're not like the waves. Like, see how the waves look different on every time frame I'm on? Whereas the anchors are static. They're like a control variable. They're not changing. They're not like a simple moving average or an EMA. So you can use these anchors as like a control variable and measure different time frames of waves. You could test out a wave interaction around an anchor on a number of time frames to like see if like this idea that you're coming up with around this anchor is like valid. One example would be how we slammed up against this bearish sentiment here after the FOMC decision. I was on stream and I said I wouldn't go swing long until we break above this sentiment, and then, you know, we think of swing long after that. But I'm not gonna think of swing longs until we do that. If anything, I said during that stream, we're in short scalp territory. And so you could go on the 5 minute and you see like, you know, the div here, like this is like price going up, oscillators coming down, and so that lends credence to the short scalp idea. But you could also go on like the 30 minute and you go to that same interaction and see if you see the same shit. It was like right here, and look, on the 30 minute you do see the declining momentum and the same things playing out. So you've got like two time frames that agree that there's a scalp unfolding here, you know? So that's just an example of like me using the anchor and the waves, using anchors as a control variable, and then you just use like, you just see if like it's agreeing on a number of time frames and like pull the trigger, you know? Melul says, the tool is awesome, been using it for a week along with my strategy, so much control and heads up on smaller time frames. 95% win rate, dude, that's awesome, man. And you know, the fact that the win rate is so high with these anchors and they are respected so well because they're volume weighted. They're not just, this is not just a fib tool or a spider line or an SMA or an EMA. This is a volume weighted sentiment. That's why the price respects it. That's why the price respects it so well. And price, you know, it's hard to find a tool that price respects because price does its own thing. Would you agree, Riley? Like, oscillators can diverge, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and you can say, oh, the price is lying, this shouldn't happen, I have an umbrella over my head, why is the rain still hitting me in the face? But it's like reality. Price is like reality. It's reality smacks you in the face. Like, you could be the perfect husband and your wife could still do you dirty. Like, you could be the best employer and your employees will still steal. You know, like, reality is, and price is like that. Like, price is going to do it at once. And yet, despite that fact, like, we have an indicator here that price seems to respect. And like, I value that super highly. It helps me come out every day, 5 days a week, and spiel my spiel on you guys. And like, I actually feel like I'm bestowing something valuable, you know?
Yeah, the addition to anchored VWAPs into my strategy as well has proven very successful.
That's good to hear,
I'll say
man.
that much.
That's good to hear. Yeah, and so it's like divergences plus anchors, like best setups to form trade ideas. And then also like plays off the intraday, like learning to trust the intraday strategy, especially in a trending market. Like when we start showing signs of weakness, like you get injured, another like the Achilles heel gets wounded, and so like now like the wildebeest is like slow, and it's only a matter of time before the lions come to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like I love these intraday interactions as well. And the intraday gives you like more opportunities from a like on an hourly, like in a trading session you'll sit down for a couple hours and maybe you're not going to get a large anchor interaction, but you will get some intraday interactions. And you could also measure, you could do micro anchors too. Like obviously like you could delete these at the end of a trading session, but let's say you hit a top, put an anchor on it. You know what I'm saying? And like see this little purple anchor here? So when we like you're measuring like this downtrend sentiment, and it's basically like a superior version of like trend line trading, where once we come up over this, then you go swing long. You know what I'm saying? Like once the idea that we need to correct dies, which is what this purple line represents, it's a volume weighted way of like trend trading. Like what you could do is like draw a trend line. Like let me get the Ray tool, and like this is like a normie way of trading where like, oh, you get this top here and just draw a little trend line. You know what I'm saying? And like when this trend line breaks, go long, you know? And that's like the most basic way. That was like when I first started trading on ButMEX with like 50x leverage. This is what I was doing, you know? But I think a safer way to go about this is to use a volume weighted tool such as the anchored VWAP here, and like it gives you just like a safer, more volume weighted, dynamic way to look at trends generating and dying. And it's all based off the idea that's generated off that initial candle. Like this red candle is this is an important candle. It's saying that we're not going up, we're going down, we're going to zero. That's what this candle is. This candle was a trader who said this shit's the Titanic, man. We're sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And so his idea is gonna play out for a certain amount of time, but then that guy's gonna get eaten up, and like people who believe that Bitcoin's a lifeboat, they're gonna take over the market. And so when is that? It's precisely right here. It's when the traders start to overcome his bearish sentiment. And typically I like to delete these short-term time frame anchors quickly, but you can see how it continues to play out. Like you get a second play, a grope for air before we slam back down under it. And then it becomes kind of more relevant as like time goes on because it's such a small time frame anchor. But just there's ways to use the anchor tool in the micro setting too. You don't just have to use the VWAPs off of daily candles like I've showed you guys. Oh shit. Oh man, I've been drawing all over the official AVWAP chart. So if someone clicks the link in my description, they see me drawing, and oh man, I feel bad. If anyone's using my chart, I'm like drawing all over your charts right now, dude. Oh man, this isn't the first time I've done this, man. I'm gonna have to like redo this chart later for you guys. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll fix it after the stream.
Small correction.
Let's see. Beck says, what is your opinion on taking trades on a weekend? MC does not work that well due to low volatility. It works. I think MC works fine on weekends. It works fine any day of the week.
It works perfectly. Yeah, I guess like sometimes you'll see like lower volatility on weekends, but that's not the rule. It certainly isn't. I've had some of my best trades on weekends.
Well, there's something to be said. Well, there's something to be said about night trading and weekend trading. There's not as many traders, and if you're on a non-KYC exchange where the books could go thin on you, at non-meta points in the market to trade, like, I mean, liquidity is extremely important. Like, if it's hard for you to fill an order on an exchange, that has nothing to do with market cipher, dude. I think what you're explaining or what you're witnessing is points where it's just simply like harder to trade from a liquidity standpoint during the weekend or in the middle of the night. Like, these are lower liquidity points during the week where like there's less orders in the books and like you get more slippage. Like, the quality of the trading is not as good as when you're like in a higher volume or higher liquidity environment. So that's my I'm gonna defend the software, and I'm gonna say that there's points in the market and at various exchanges where you've got a liquidity issue, not a market cipher issue. And it's not the Chinese either. It's not the Chinese wrecking you. It's a funny way to look at things, but it's really just the fact that there's less orders on the books. But you could take it out of the Chinese if you want, man. If anything, we like the Chinese in our community. Like,
we respect anyone who's willing to trade crypto and be in the grind.
Yeah, man.
Do push-ups.
Where would the liquidity be for us degens if not for the oceanic and Asian markets, you know? Kamansky says, how often do you set new anchors? New macro anchors happen once in a blue moon. I may add one. Like, if we can come up a little more and this starts looking like bullish, maybe I'll place one at like on the daily off of this candle here, this low that we had. And then I'll go down on the small time frames and I mean, this could be a new anchor that we use, but see how it's already not being respected. So like, I already don't like it. But maybe the sentiment will come, maybe the price will come back over the sentiment. But yeah, this, like, maybe you could place one now currently if you think that this could be a market bottom. I could place a new anchor right now. If in fact, the fact that like we tried this anchor is basically saying we've hit the bottom, right? So we would measure that sentiment, and unfortunately that idea died. You know what I'm saying? Like, this idea that this right here is the market bottom from a volume weighted standpoint died because the price came right back down under it. So that's a little concerning, you know? Yeah, so you do want to be quick about placing anchors. Like, it was on the daily chart, for instance, after about like a day or two of down, I quickly placed this red bearish anchor on the daily of the all-time top. And I'm glad I did, because look, we've been catching crazy shorts off it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the price has been respecting it greatly. So the faster you can place, the faster you can like call a bottom. And this happens in your life too. Like, the faster you can accept, hey baby, I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the beginning of the resolution of the problem. And it's easier, it's less load on your back, because you then have just a steady baseline of just establishing good behavior in business or in your relationship or whatever. You're no longer like under the weight of this bear sentiment. You now have like a steady bullish sentiment to ride on, if that makes sense. So the faster you can accept that things are going to shit, or things are at a low and they need to get better in your life or in the charts, like, that's going to play out good for you. So I try to place new macro anchors as fast as possible when I think that there might be a substantial market top or bottom. Or I may place one at the start of the year, or the start of the quarter, or the start of the month. There's time frame AVWAPs, interval based AVWAPs, and then there's technical analysis based AVWAPs. There's also futures gap. You could measure like the sentiment. Like this is the futures chart right here. You could measure, let me try to find like a sizable gap. You could measure like the idea of a futures gap pretty good with this. So let's say you have a big gap here. You go to the candle after the gap and you place it, and you see, are we going to come back up and fill this gap, or is it going to like trend under and run away from it for the time being? And it's going to allow you, like, if the price does come back up, then you can anticipate, like, if we come back over, you can anticipate us filling the gap. You know what I'm saying? So there's like multiple ways to apply these anchors. Typically price comes back and fills these gaps. Here's a good one. So there was this massive gap here, and it looks like the price is going to run away, right? And so we're in this like fantasy land of like, we're going to keep pumping, right? But look, then you see the weakness, and then we slip below, and you've got plenty of time to go short, because boom, we filled that gap. You guys see how I just used an AVWAP to profit off of a major gap fill in the markets there. So that's another way you could use AVWAP. Also off of specific news events. So yeah, any candle where you want to gauge the sentiment, like every candle represents an idea that gets formed at that candle, and you could measure the sentiment or the idea generated by that specific candle by placing an anchor on it. Yeah. Like the stream for Nightshade, man. You've been providing good intel. You're a good partner in crime, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me so far. It's pretty fun. I like talking to Market Cipher. I've been staring at these charts for hours every day for a long time. I feel our crystal balls are of seeing the future.
We got crystal balls, all right, man. We got crystal. They're
crystal balls.
They're clanking. When I come out of bed, when I get out of bed, you guys want to know what my day looks like? I get out of bed and I trip over my clanking crystal balls. I get in a cold shower. I take a dump, just like the markets, and then I make some black coffee, and I do any refunds or escalations. I handle the gropers for Market Cipher, and then I do some David rebloggings on Instagram. I see what content our people are putting out. Like, I'm on social media all the time. I go on Twitter, and if some pencil neck says Bitcoin to 100K, I'm like, okay, bro, then do 100 push-ups a day with me. You know, if you're serious about it. Like, so I'm like attacking people on Twitter, or defending my brother on Twitter from pencil necks. And then I go into the stream. I may have like 1 to 3 like hour and a half, 2-hour consultations with traders, like one-on-one. And then I eat my protein, I go to the gym, and then I come home, and man, like FloppingGroper's tired at that point, man. I check Instagram one more time, and then I go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So that's a day in the life of a G. You know what I'm saying?
Out there swashbuckling in the threads.
Yeah, man.
With the crystal balls.
I don't got time for anything else, man. I love my life. Yeah, and I love you guys. Yarbrook says volume is an issue on the weekends. RSI can reset and it won't be seen in price action. I like to think of RSI like the drive and reverse in a car. Volume is the throttle. That's a good way to put it, man. Yeah, volume is like, it's leading, but it's also like, it takes time for money flow to follow through. So it's leading, but it can take time for the money flow to happen. And yeah, the RSI is definitely like market strength. It's like a lot more immediate. When you see the bearish strength dying, coming over 12, or when you get to that point where we achieve like market strength, like yeah, it's more immediate. Another great oscillator is this yellow wave, man. Like, not only does it diverge, for instance, like see how the price comes lower here, but see how the yellow oscillator like tried to make a bigger attempt, but it's just like the price went lower. So these yellow wave oscillators are very telling of like exactly where the market's going in the immediate short term. And then you also get these crosses below or like above or below zero that are very meaningful. So I actually have a guy who like has been trading for like 20 years, traditional markets. He's in the community now, the VIP, and he's like taken the yellow oscillator and put it on top, like separate from all these other oscillators, and he does like very complex trend analysis just off the yellow. Like he'll measure these trends. He'll like, I'm sorry I got this like stupid cough, but yeah, he'll like measure like this stuff, like channels of yellow wave, and then when it breaks, like he'll long or something, like so you can do like analysis on all these oscillators. Ali Swiden says, what's the push-up thing? So I was just a disciple of David Goggins, like, you know, like going ham, proof of work. I was tying like the Bitcoin concept of like proof of work into what I was doing with fitness, because when it comes to making like short content, I wanted to be able to hit multiple birds with one stone so that I can focus on live streaming. And so I was like, what's something that I could hit all the birds with one stone with? Doing push-ups every day until we hit 100K, you know? And so like, yeah, I was like at 48K, I was just like, I'm gonna do push-ups every day until we hit 100K. And 12 days into it, Ali, Satoshi's, like these emails from Satoshi were leaked, and he said if everyone does 100 push-ups a day, the price will go to 100K. And so then I started thinking like, this is fate, and like, you know, God told me to do this, and like no one can stop me from doing this now. So like I got super passionate about it and was trying to like inspire the world to do push-ups. Oh my gosh. And I failed at inspiring the world, but I inspired the Market Cipher community, you know, so I take pride in that. So now I got like 10 guys or something doing push-ups with me, and like there's a lot of people that are doing them that aren't posting them, but I got like 10 guys like actually posting hard proof of work of themselves getting jacked day by day until we hit 100K. And the whole point of it is to combat you know, bear market psychology, but bear market spirituality. If we do have to crash down and it takes a long time to get to 100K, then like we need to be better people by the time this market turns back up. We can't be like worse people who are in worse shape and all screw. You can't crawl out from under a rock at the end of a bear market like pale, overweight, like fucked up. Like you got to be in better shape than you were. Like when you have hard times are supposed to create better men, not worse men. You know what I'm saying? And so Ali, like this isn't for you. You know, like the men screwed up these markets, and the men need to fix them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the men who got to carry the boats and load the women and children onto the lifeboats. So I'm not asking though. This is like not a contest or a challenge for the women and children. This is for all of our military aged men in our community who like need to get stronger. You know what I'm saying?
We're not strong enough as a community.
Yeah, you guys aren't ready for 100K or zero. You guys just simply are not ready for the future unless you're working toward it. And yeah, Trav, once we hit 100K, then I'll quit. I'm gonna quit doing push-ups entirely. I'm gonna nuke the channel, and I'm gonna go back to smoking weed every day and playing World of Warcraft. I'm gonna be a World of Warcraft guild master. And it's the party's over if we hit 100K, bro. And I'm out. I'm selling my bags, baby, and then I'm going to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So you guys better hope we crash down to 20K. Let's
Just
see.
like that.
Yeah. Push-ups to 1 million push-ups a day until we hit 1 million. Man, yeah. When does this stop, dude? When does this stop? Yeah, so that's the end of the music. We answered a lot of questions. How do I turn my diamond hands back on, Carrie? Man, I don't even know what that question means. Diamond hands? Either way, man.
I'd say wait till we overcome the anchored VWAPs, and once we overcome those, your diamond hands are good to shine again.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that is the answer. Yeah, you gotta wait till we overcome this shit before you start thinking swing long and you start believing all these people on Twitter. Until we overcome this newly established bear sentiment, which it you know, it may go sideways and we may play around and then overcome it. But like, there's just simply, now we're creating like lower highs and we might get a lower low here. So it's choppy. This is a scalper's market. Yeah, man, it's iffy, bro. Don't listen to anyone who says they know what's gonna happen. Inflows and all this shit, like, man, especially with like the yield curve of treasury bonds like likely to uninvert in the summer at some point this year. That's bad for all markets. Like, it doesn't matter how bullish crypto is. If we get a 2008 style market crash and we get blasted to the Stone Age, like, you think Bitcoin's gonna live through that? Like, it's not. There's bigger things than crypto. So yeah, man, like, we got a lot of bullish things going on. But that sentiment, this idea that this is a great year for Bitcoin is embodied by the purple year-to-date anchor. We decided on January 1st of this year that Bitcoin's a winner, right? Let's test it. If we have to go below the year-to-date, then things get weird. You know what I'm saying? But if we can get a bounce on this year-to-date anchor, that's awesome. So yeah, this purple line represents Bitcoin having a good year. And then the poop line was generated at the bottom. This is the up only idea. This is the idea that Bitcoin not only is going to have a good year, but it's up only, baby. We are never going down. So if the poop line gets violated, then that kills that idea of up only. If the yellow line gets violated, that's my push-up line. That means my push-up challenge is losing validity. And the idea that I can just do push-ups and pump the price to 100K, if we fall below and the yellow line becomes resistance, like, if this was a trade, I would be looking to take profit on that idea. And I you know what I'm saying? Like, it's telling me that my idea is dying. You know what I'm saying? But in the pink line is just the people who were long at 50K. And then the orange line is the Twitter fools who, after this 10% correction, said that we were going to 1 million. And now it looked, so their idea worked for a little bit. It worked really good. They had a lot of people sold and they're smelling their bullshit. But now that orange line is resistance. Now we're slamming. Every time we siege the orange line, we get shot down. And so yeah, like, we've been betrayed by the orange sentiment. So yeah, that's where we're at, man. What's up, Tom Crown, dude? I just subbed to your channel, man. And I clicked the bell too, man. And your streams have been long and juicy, man. It's good to see you in here. Wish I had some chill music playing, but and you're catching the end of the stream too, man. We're about to cut it. Let's see. Yeah, Tommy Gunn says reading AVWPs as sentiment is nice. Yeah, dude, I love doing it like that. I think it's valid to read it like that. Because it's like a mixture of volume and price. But any last words, Nightshade, before we cut the stream, man? I appreciate you spending the time to get on the stream with me, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Last words are to the chat. Get a risk management strategy if you don't have one. And how you know you don't have one is if you're blowing accounts. If you're blowing accounts, whatever you're doing is not working. So get a risk management strategy, get NickCipher, and use that trend bias.
So if you guys don't have NickCipher, check out marketciphertrading.com. If you use code Titanic, it's 25% off. And we got tutorials, we got a free risk calculator, we got merch. So go ahead and check out NickCipher. Click the link in my description to use my FG link. And yeah, you guys have a good one. This was fun, man. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir.